MacDonald Gargan was a private detective. Before meeting Jonah Jameson, the private investigator spent his time following unfaithful wives, taking photos for blackmailers to pay for rent and food, and drowning his feelings of hopelessness in cheap alcohol. He was hired by Jameson to find out how Peter Parker got such great pictures of Spider-Man and how he was connected to him. But thanks to his intuition and sense, Peter managed to slip away from Gargan. One day, Mac Gargan was looking through articles prepared for the newspaper. One of them was about Dr. Farley Stillwell. He transferred the properties of one animal to another through artificial mutation. Jameson's brilliant plan was to create a man with the properties of a powerful animal that could defeat Spider-Man, a scorpion, because in nature it is the enemy of spiders. He offered Gargan 10 grand to become that man. Without hesitation, Gargan agreed. They immediately rushed to Farley Stillwell. Seeing the results of his work, Jameson offered him 10 grand to conduct an experiment on a human. Stillwell couldn't refuse. He needed money for his experiments. He shaved Gargan's head and gave him a serum that gave him the powers of a scorpion, and then exposed him to radiation. While he was being irradiated, Stillwell made him a suit with a strong exoskeleton and a cybernetic tail. Wearing this suit, Gargan demonstrated incredible strength. Jameson was, of course, pleased. Near the Daily Bugle, Spider-Man fell into the clutches of Scorpion. Thanks to his enormous strength, he tore through Spider-Man's webs like threads. Gargan didn't give him a moment's rest, and in the end, Scorpion knocked him out by throwing him into a water tower. Everything would have been fine, but gradually the side effects of the serum began to manifest themselves, which Stillwell also learned about after conducting tests. He prepared an antidote and ran to save Scorpion before it was too late. The stronger Scorpion became, the more he went mad. According to Stillwell, his evil nature was manifesting itself. Intoxicated by his own power, he spat on Jameson's orders and went to rob an armored truck. After stealing a bag of jewels from the collectors, he met with Stillwell. He offered him an antidote to return him to normal before it was too late. But Scorpion was enjoying himself too much. When he climbed onto the building, the scientist followed him, but he lost his grip and fell from the third floor. Scorpion warned him that he wouldn't be able to hold on, but after what happened, he didn't care. Spider-Man heard the alarm and arrived at the scene, where an equal battle ensued. Spider-Man was defeated again and Scorpion reached the peak of his power, but also lost the ability to become a normal human again. Leaving Spider-Man unconscious, Scorpion went after his final target, Jameson. Only he knew who he really was, and a man with that knowledge was extremely dangerous to him. Arriving in Jameson's office, they were left alone. But not for long. Spider-Man flew into the office, shot a stream of sticky web at Scorpion's feet, tore off his tail and knocked him out. Scorpion was of course sent to prison, and he managed to escape several times. Over the years, Scorpion fought Spider-Man many times and was defeated. Thanks to the combination of his mechanical tail, speed, and strength, Scorpion always surpassed Spider-Man physically. Only Spider-Man's experience, skills, and wit helped him defeat Gargan. Once again, after kidnapping Jameson, Gargan wanted revenge for ruining his life by turning him into Scorpion. He believes that the suit couldn't be removed and that he would never be able to lead a normal life. Jameson was saved by Ms. Marvel, who threw Scorpion into a vat of acid. The acid burned Scorpion and he ran away screaming. After the battle with Ms. Marvel, Scorpion began to believe that his suit was permanently attached to his body, and he began to see himself as a monster in his mind. Scientists from AIM found him and began threatening him so they could use him for their own purposes. AIM upgraded his suit, improving his sting so he could spit acid. After escaping from them, Gargan wandered around the sewers for a long time. He kept remembering how he became Scorpion and the series of defeats that followed. In addition, he was haunted by the obsessive idea that he was a monster and wouldn't never be able to take off his suit and live a normal human life again. However, after another skirmish with Spider-Man, Peter removed his mask and proved that he was still human, not a monster. Scorpion's costume was completely removed. He withdrew into himself and didn't react to the outside world. He was placed in a psychiatric clinic where he stayed for several months. Dr. Clune, a young psychiatrist, decided to bring Scorpion out of this state. He knew that Gargan perceived his suit as a second skin and decided to return it to him. That was what he needed. He deliberately pretended to be a vegetable because he knew that, in the end, his suit will be returned to him. Breaking through the wall with his tail and shocking the doctors with his suddenly recovery, Gargan escaped. Scorpion immediately headed for Farley Stilwell's abandoned laboratory. From the equipment there, he assembled a tail that shot electromagnetic rays. In the end, after the exhausting battle, he was defeated by Spider-Man and Captain America. Over the years, Scorpion fought and was defeated by Spider-Man many times. One of this confrontation took place when Spider-Man was protecting Jameson's life, whom Scorpion hated even more than Spider-Man. Gargan was wandering through the sewers again, deeply depressed. He complained aloud about his fate. He was hired by Philip Kostler Sr., a former millionaire, and together they robbed a store and hid in the sewers in Scorpion's place. They had a relaxed conversation over a glass of wine. It was the only time Scorpion felt truly happy, even though it only lasted a couple of hours. He even began to wonder whether he wanted to be a Scorpion or not.